Warning, may contain trace amounts of insanity. As you can see here, I have a particle effect. Yay! An actual particle effect, not one of those fake ones I made. But in Godot 3, it's kind of hard to figure out what you really need to do to create a particle effect. And I have here something that looks kind of like the How Long heater from Team Fortress 2. Or at least it's very flammable effect. So, I'm going to show you a little bit about the particles. First though, let's get some spatials up in here. And particles. Let's grab a light. Ah, my head hurts. So much. Put that up there. Now, you can probably notice something here. Or actually not notice anything here, because nothing's happening. And so you go over into the Particles and Inspector tab, which unfortunately I cannot zoom into, and wonder, what do I need to do? Well, first let's open up the draw passes. Passes 1, pass 1. Let's give us a new sphere. Wow. It's amazing. Now, if you have this done one shot, and it goes away, then you're going to want to, and then you turn off one shot, you're going to want to turn off and on emitting back again. That usually clears a lot of problems. But now we've got a sphere. And not much else. So now we need a process material. Now you can use a shader material, but then you have to write a shader. So we're going to use a new particles material. And we have that. Hey. Okay, great. I'm just going to save this real quick. So now we get back to the particles, and we have our process material, and now it's doing something. It's falling. Now normally, oh come on, get back there. Normally, for a particle mesh, I wouldn't actually use a sphere mesh. Or at least I wouldn't use Godot's sphere mesh. I think it's a little too detailed. But I'll go ahead and use it for this tutorial because no harm right now. It's not like we're having 1,000 of these. But now that we've done our particle materials, let's look over some of these. I'm guessing the trail gives your particles trails. Ugh. But I don't really use those because I don't have whatever the heck it needs. Let's see, curved textures and other textures. So let's go to something that will actually help us do something. Now, the emission shape, point, sphere, directed points. Now, points and directed points need textures and stuff. Box has the box extents. Sphere, sphere radius, and points just point. Now, if you switch between directed points and things look a little odd, or you go between directed points and things look a little odd, or if you go between directed points and sphere or box and any of them look really odd, try going to different shapes until it clears any kind of oddities. But for right now, I'm not seeing any of the errors that I saw in my previous testing. Now you can align, rotate, and disable with these flags, but since they're not doing anything, I guess we don't need them right now. Now let's do spread. Spread 45, flatness 0, flatness 1, oh yeah, gravity. Let's turn it off with a 0. That looks all foamy and bubbly. You know what, let me move that. There we go, get it out of our way. I'm using Karnak to show which keys I'm hitting. So we turn the gravity off. Change the velocity. Make it spread out a bit more. We make the spread 360. Okay, 180. Shape point. Angular velocity 1. Now that we have a particles material doing something, we can change its lifetime to 0.5. Give ourselves more particles. Now here you can increase the passes. Let's do 1 quad mesh, 1 plane mesh, now in the geometry instance, and I'm guessing in the particle materials, we can actually put in a material. Let's grab this spatial material and change the albedo color to something red. Let's grab the textures. That's not red. That's red. And nothing's happening. Gray. So let's just do a new special material here. Okay, that works. Let's make it transparent. Let's check out our particle material and the flags. That's what a line Y does. Oh, there we go. And the velocity to 5. Go back. Basically, to get a particle actually working, you're going to need the process material, the particle material, at least one mesh, sometimes more, and a material override. But once you do that, you can start messing with the materials and the emissions and everything else. Fortunately, let's see, moving on, 20 or 9.5. Ah, there we go. Explosiveness 1. Randomness 1. Let's grab this material override. Turn off transparent. And there we go. Although for my material I was using, or for my previous material I was using the Godot dude and a blue color. But once you have particle material, a 3D object, can be a plane, sphere, whatever. It could be a plane, a train, or an automobile. It could be a plane, train, or sphere. Never mind. Okay. And a material. Once you have the material, the 3D object, and the particle material, then you're ready to mess with your particle effect and tweak it to your preference. Most of these, I don't know what they do, so usually it's a lot of trial and error for me. Now, normally, I tend to fake particle effects, because I originally started not with the Godot game engine, but with Blender, and its game engine did not have particle effects. And particle effects are good, they make things look nice, but depending on what platforms you're deploying on, especially things like phones and such like that, you might not want to use a whole lot of particle effects. Usually I don't use any until after I'm through with most of the stuff in the game, and then I'll add some to make it look better. But usually, as long as it try to have the smallest amount of particles that still looks good, or still looks like what you want. You don't want to put in like 10 million particles. Oh boy. I hope I didn't crash my laptop. Yeah, see? That was not a very wise move. Yeah, you don't want to put in like 10 million particles and watch everything crash. Usually I'd keep it under 100. Well, I think that's the end of this tutorial. But yeah, you want to be careful with the amount of particles you use. Otherwise you'll crash everything. Especially if you're deploying to phones and stuff. Now, let's try this again. I'll put under here. And okay, not that. Let's see if we can't do a 2D particle effect. 20. So I'm assuming there we go. Like with the 3D particles, you're going to want to process material and a canvas item material. So let's mess with the canvas item material first. Next, normal. Next pass. No. Oh, the canvas item materials. I'm going to clear that for now. Point, sphere, gravity, 0. Also, this fixed FPS. You can set your frames per second to a set amount in your particles, which is good. You can have your particles running at half the frame rate of your game, or less. If it looks good, it'll save you a bit of processing power. And yeah, particles can weigh down your game a bit, but it's nothing like skeletal animations, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Now let me mess with this a bit. Huh. There we go. Yeah. 80 degrees. Flatness. Like I really need flatness in a 2D particle effect. But yeah, the 2D particles and 3D particles are pretty similar. Still want another material, and let's see what a spatial material does. Alright. How do this? Let's see. Let's test. No. Yeah, there we go. Huh. So for some reason, my materials don't seem to want to work. Oh, duh. Oh, oh, oh. 2D uses textures. Let's see, resources. Part 3. Okay, so what they did was they took the particle 3D and the particle 2D and they kind of share a lot. Let's see. Yeah, 2D particles allows you to use textures or materials, but the materials didn't seem to work for me. There we go. 0.05. So for the 2D particles, you basically need under the process material, a particle material and a texture. I'm not sure what canvas item material does, but for me it didn't do anything. But then again, I'm basically doing just this basic explosion here of hearts. Let's load something up a bit better. Or not. But yeah, basically for the 3D particles, you're going to need particle material under process material, a 3D object under draw passes, under Geometry, Material Override. If you want to see something really neat, turn flags. Let's turn metallic 1. Oh, now that looks nice. I might have to look through the material to do some fun stuff with that. But yeah, 3D particles, particle material, your material override, and 2D particles needs a particle material and a texture at the very least. Although you don't really need the material or the texture, but it does help. And as always, make sure that the emitting's on. And if one shot's on and you want to turn it off, then you have to toggle emitting. But hopefully that will get you through the basics of both 3D and 2D particles. And hopefully you don't get a headache sifting through all these massive choices. Because just the particle material alone has a ton of stuff. I wonder what happens if I turn off Disable Z. I did not know that. But makes everything in a 2D particle effect go left to right. Turning on Disabled Z allows it to explode. Oh wow! Messing with the line Y in a 2D particle makes everything face outward. That is neat, yeah. So hopefully you'll have more fun with particles than I have. And if this tutorial has helped you, please subscribe so you can ring my bell, or go down into the description of this video and check out my Patreon page. You know, since I kind of only have one Patreon on that page, and you know you want to. You know you want to.